All right, so here we are, the final episode of our journey through Florence Scovel Shinn's The Game of Life. We've talked about prosperity, non-resistance, karma, and love. But today, we're getting into the one principle that ties them all together, the incredible creative power of your word. Let's get into it.
You know, this ancient piece of wisdom is really the core of everything Shinn teaches. The idea is so simple but so powerful. Our words don't just describe our reality, they actually create it. Every single sentence we speak is like a command, a blueprint that life then follows with, honestly, surprising accuracy.
So here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with why the words we repeat are so darn powerful. Then, we'll break down the law of the word itself. From there, we'll look at the trap of careless, negative talk, and, more importantly, how to upgrade to intentional language. And then, after a quick recap of the whole season, I'll give you a simple practice you can start using today.
Okay, let's start with this foundational idea, because it's a big one. The words we use aren't just a passive description of our lives, they are the active script. What you say out loud, and especially what you say over and over again, well, that's not just commentary, it's a direction. So Shinn's central point is this. The things you say repeatedly impress themselves onto your subconscious mind. And here's the thing about that part of your mind. It doesn't argue, it doesn't judge, it just gets to work making your words come true, whether they're good for you or not. So how does this actually work? Is this just some abstract idea? Well, no. Shinn presents it as a functional law, and what's fascinating is that you see echoes of it across all kinds of wisdom traditions. Shinn uses this brilliant analogy of an old phonograph record. Think about it. The subconscious is like that sensitive wax disc. It records everything, every word, every hesitation, every sigh. It doesn't edit, it doesn't make things sound better, it just plays back exactly what was impressed upon it. It's this faithful, impersonal servant that just acts on whatever blueprints we give it. And this is a perfect example of what we call a Mosaic truth. Just look at how the same basic concept shows up in totally different fields. Shinn calls the word a creative tool. The ancient Stoics saw our words as the direct expression of our inner reason, and modern psychology, well, it sees speech as a trigger that primes the brain for certain actions and outcomes. It's different language, for sure, but the fundamental principle is exactly the same.
So here's the bottom line. It doesn't matter which framework you prefer, metaphysical, philosophical, or scientific, the conclusion is identical. Our inner self-talk and our outer speech, that is the rudder that steers the entire ship of our life.
Now here's the problem, right? Most of us are totally unaware that we have this creative power, and so we end up using it against ourselves. We literally write personal laws of failure without even having a clue we're doing it. Shinn tells this perfect little story. You have a father and a daughter living in the same house, taking the same streetcar. The father has his personal law, I always miss it. The daughter has hers, I always catch it. And for years, life proved them both right. They were living in two completely different realities, created entirely by the words they chose to repeat. And what this means is that all those little things, casually complaining, always talking about what you don't have, even making negative jokes about yourself, they're not harmless. According to this law, they are active declarations. They're self-fulfilling prophecies that your subconscious mind is diligently working to make real for you. This might be one of the most powerful ideas in the whole book. When we speak from a place of fear, I'm so afraid I'm going to get sick, or I'm just so worried about losing my job, we are giving our subconscious intense, focused emotional instructions. We're essentially praying for and programming ourselves to receive the very outcomes we're terrified of. Okay, so if careless speech is the trap, how do we get out? Well, the way out is to become conscious, to become deliberate and intentional with our language. This is what Shinn calls the upgrade to clean speech. And the guideline here couldn't be simpler. Shinn suggests that once a person understands this law, they only dare to use their words for one of these three constructive purposes. Anything else is just a misuse of this incredible creative power. I mean, think about this as a filter for everything you say. And not just to other people, but maybe even more importantly to yourself. Before you speak, just ask, is this word going to heal something? Is it going to bless someone? Is it going to help something prosper? If the answer is no, maybe silence is the better option.
Now, this isn't just some feel-good idea. This is actually a well-known psychological tool called cognitive reappraisal. By actively reframing a situation with our language, we can literally change our emotional and behavioral responses to it. When you change the story you tell yourself, you change how your brain processes the whole event.
Okay, so let's zoom out for a second and see how this law of the word is really the foundation for all the other rules of the game we've talked about. It's the engine that brings all the other laws to life.
We've covered so much ground, haven't we? Understanding that prosperity is a mindset, the power of not resisting, the balance of karma and forgiveness, and of course, love as the ultimate law. But what's the common thread?
The connection is your word. Think about it. We literally speak ourselves into a reality of lack or prosperity. Our words are what fuel resistance, or they can be the very tool we use to let go. The words we use create the karmic causes that lead to effects down the line, and our words are the main way we express love or fear. Speech is the master key to all of it. And this really brings us to the heart of the whole thing. Mastery of the game of life, according to Shinn, isn't about controlling the world out there. It's about achieving mastery over your own speech, both the words you think and the words you say. When you control your words, you control your game.
So to make this really practical, let's finish up with a simple practice you can start doing the second this explainer is over. It's a way to actively, consciously take the wheel.
Shinn lays out this simple three-step process. First, you just notice. The moment you catch yourself saying something negative like, "Ugh, I'm always so tired," just pause. Second, you interrupt the pattern. You can actually say out loud, "I cancel that." And third, you replace it. You deliberately speak a new, aligned statement, something like, "I am filled with energy and vitality." You are actively smashing that old record and creating a new one.
Look, this isn't about being perfect or policing every single thought you have. It's about recognizing your power as the author of your own story. Every time you do this little word reset, you are editing your script in real time. You're consciously choosing the story you actually want to live.
And that completes our journey through the game of life. We've seen that life isn't meant to be a battle, but a game of alignment. And the master key is aligning our words with the reality we want to create. The whole series is available in a playlist if you want to review. Our next series will explore another classic text. But for now, I'll just leave you with this question. What is the one careless phrase you've been using that you will now consciously upgrade? Your answer is the first move in a whole new game.